On the 17th of March in la-di-da-di-da, a son was born to Mrs La De Dum. He had 2 arms, 2 legs, a mouth and nose and ears, and the usual la-di-da-di-da-di-dum. He was duly christened la-di-da-di-da, and they gave his second name as La De Dum. And through his life, and he lived for 90 years, he was known as la-di-da-di-da-di-dum. Then as he grew up, his la-di-da-di-dum grew quicker than his other la-di-dum. And when he was 15, everyone remarked on his great big la-di-da-di-da-di-dum. Then he met a girl in la-di-da-di-da. She was pretty, but a little la-di-dum. But the reason that he loved her best was she didn't mind his great big la-di-da-di-dum. Her mother was awfully la-di-da-di-da. Her father was completely la-di-dum. And they sat to dinner of salmon mayonnaise and a bowl of la-di-da-di-da-di-dum. Now all went well till la-di-da-di-da got up to take a bite of la-di-dum. He tripped and fell into the salmon mayonnaise, and it fell upon his la-di-da-di-dum. Her mother cried, la-di-da-di-da. Her father kind of mumbled, la-di-dum. And her mother said, dear, you must try to find a boy with a smaller la-di-da-di-da-di-dum. They were married in the spring of la-di-da-di-da, and they honeymooned in sunny la-di-dum. But they found they couldn't get in the double bed for this great big la-di-da-di-da-di-dum. So newly married la-di-da-di-da decided on a plan for a la-di-dum. So they slept together and they used another bed just to rest his la-di-da-di-da-di-dum. He died in the winter of la-di-da-di-da, a victim of the dreaded la-di-dum. They put him in the coffin, but they couldn't shut the lid for his great big la-di-da-di-da-di-dum. So the undertaker of la-di-da-di-da decided on a plan for la-di-dum. So he built another coffin, roughly 3 by 2 by 1, just to take his la-di-da-di-da-di-dum. Now you can read on his tombstone, la-di-da-di-da, the son of la-di-da-di-da-di-dum. Here lies his body, and in the next grave up at 1 lies his la-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-dum.